Ever feel like the world stopped making sense, and somehow you're supposed to keep going anyway? Bills to pay, news that hurts, people pretending they're fine, and in the middle of it all, you, trying to find a reason that never quite fits. Existentialism says maybe there isn't one. Today we will talk about how to make sense of a world that makes no sense, existentialism. So before we start, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. 1. The paradox of modern existence. We live in an era of extraordinary advancement. Technology connects us across continents, medicine prolongs life, and knowledge is literally at our fingertips. Yet, despite these advancements, many people feel an underlying emptiness or disorientation. The paradox of modern existence is that the more progress we make, the less certain we may feel about our place in the world. Social media amplifies the illusion of connection, while often leaving us lonelier than before. Work provides structure, but frequently lacks deeper meaning. Even in moments of apparent success or achievement, a subtle, nagging question arises. Does any of this truly matter? This tension between human longing for meaning in a world that often seems indifferent has been a persistent source of philosophical inquiry, particularly in the 19th and 20th centuries. Existentialism emerges as a response to this sense of dislocation. Unlike traditional philosophies that attempt to impose order or offer definitive truths, existentialism confronts the unsettling reality of a universe without inherent purpose. Yet, rather than leaving us in despair, it encourages us to actively create meaning and take responsibility for our lives. It challenges us to examine life on our own terms and to recognize that while the world may make no sense in itself, we have the capacity to give it significance through our choices and actions. 2. The origins of existential thought. Existentialism, though formally recognized as a philosophical movement in the 20th century, draws on a much older intellectual tradition. Søren Kierkegaard, a Danish philosopher and theologian of the 19th century, is often cited as the father of existentialism. Kierkegaard focused on the individual's subjective experience, particularly the anxiety and despair that arise when one confronts life's ultimate questions. He argued that meaning is not something handed down from external systems, whether religious, social, or political, but something that must be embraced through personal commitment and authentic choice. For Kierkegaard, faith was not about conforming to doctrine, but about making a passionate, deeply personal leap into the unknown. Friedrich Nietzsche approached existential questions from a secular perspective, declaring the death of God. Nietzsche highlighted the collapse of traditional moral and metaphysical frameworks. Without divine authority, humans were confronted with the responsibility of creating their own values and meaning. He introduced the concept of the overman, a figure who lives authentically, embraces life's challenges, and forges meaning through self-overcoming. In the 20th century, existentialism evolved through the works of Jean-Paul Sartre, Albert Camus, and Simone de Beauvoir, who expanded on ideas of freedom, responsibility, absurdity, and relational ethics, addressing the pressing existential crisis of a world scarred by war, industrialization, and social upheaval. Collectively, these thinkers asked fundamental questions. How do we live in a universe that offers no intrinsic guidance? How do we find purpose in the absence of preordained meaning? 3. The absurd, confronting a meaningless world. Central to existentialist philosophy is the concept of the absurd, most famously articulated by Albert Camus. The absurd arises from the collision between human beings' deep-seated need for meaning and the universe's apparent indifference. We seek coherence, justice, and purpose, yet the world does not provide these in any automatic or guaranteed form. Life presents contradictions, suffering, and randomness that defy simple explanation. Camus explored this idea through the myth of Sisyphus, condemned by the gods to endlessly push a boulder up a hill, only to watch it roll back down again. The futility of this task mirrors the human condition, striving to impose meaning on an indifferent universe. Yet, the recognition of the absurd is not meant to lead to despair. Camus argued that acknowledging the absurd can be liberating. Once we accept that life has no predetermined purpose, we gain the freedom to create our own values and pursue our own path. This conscious rebellion against the absurd is a form of empowerment, a way to affirm life despite its inherent meaninglessness. Camus famously concludes that one must imagine Sisyphus happy, suggesting that joy and fulfillment are possible when we embrace life fully, even in its absurdity. The challenge then is not to discover an ultimate truth, but to live authentically in a world that offers no guarantees. 4. Freedom, responsibility, and the burden of choice. For existentialist thinkers like Jean-Paul Sartre, the human condition is defined by radical freedom. Sartre's dictum, "Existence precedes essence," means that we are not born with a predetermined purpose, identity, or set of values. Instead, we create our essence through the choices we make. This freedom, however, comes with an equally profound responsibility. The choices we make define not only ourselves, but also the way we engage with the world. Sartre described the feeling of realizing this responsibility as anguish. Anguish is the confrontation with the sheer weight of freedom, the awareness that there is no external script to follow, and that we cannot blame fate, society, or God for our choices. While this can initially feel paralyzing, existentialists argue that it is also the pathway to authenticity. By acknowledging our freedom and taking responsibility for our actions, we craft a life that is genuinely our own. This approach reframes the challenge of a seemingly senseless world. Meaning is not discovered externally, it is invented internally in the deliberate choices we make and the integrity with which we act. 5. Authenticity and the courage to be. Authenticity is another cornerstone of existentialist thought. Living authentically means acting in accordance with one's true values, rather than conforming to societal expectations, cultural norms, or external pressures. Philosopher Martin Heidegger described the concept of the they, das Man, in which individuals lose themselves in the roles, opinions, and routines imposed by society. Existentialism challenges us to step out of this collective inertia and to face life with honesty and self-awareness. Achieving authenticity is not easy. It requires confronting uncertainty, questioning assumptions, and embracing vulnerability. Courage, in this context, is the willingness to acknowledge life's absurdity and to commit to meaningful action despite it. Authentic living is not a destination but a continual process, a daily practice of choosing deliberately, reflecting honestly, and acting in alignment with one's personal vision. In essence, existentialism teaches that clarity of purpose comes not from external validation, but from internal honesty. 6. Finding meaning through action and engagement. Existentialism emphasizes that meaning is not something we passively find. It is actively created through engagement with the world. Work, creativity, relationships, and moral responsibility are all avenues for constructing purpose. Simone de Beauvoir, a leading existentialist philosopher, emphasized that freedom is inherently relational. True liberation involves recognizing and supporting the freedom of others. Our choices gain significance not only through self-expression, but also through their impact on the lives of those around us. In practical terms, this could mean cultivating empathy, pursuing passions, contributing to community, or creating art. Every act of engagement is a way of asserting existence and affirming life, transforming abstract freedom into concrete purpose, even in small, everyday decisions. How we treat others, how we spend our time, how we pursue knowledge. We participate in the ongoing creation of meaning. The existential perspective reframes life's challenges as opportunities. Uncertainty, failure, and suffering are not obstacles to purpose, but components of a life fully lived. If you like this video and would like to see more like it, please give it the thumbs up. Leave a comment and click the button to subscribe.